Kuleana, brought to you by Hawaii Food Service Alliance and Domino's Hawaii.
Kuleana, our responsibility. For many of us, the tourism industry is our livelihood. Finding a balance for our islands, our people, our culture is our Kuleana.
Aole Pilikia ke Yala, Keku ai ya o Hawaii. Translation: Hawaii was never easier to sell.
Waikiki, the quintessential idea of a tropical vacation. Movie stars, mai tais, and hula dancers. It was once an idyllic setting that soon fueled an economy driven by tourism. But it's not all palm trees, surf, and sand. This world-famous strip of beach is the engine that powers the state of Hawaii.
I think Waikiki is the heartbeat of Oahu, especially when it comes to tourism. I mean, its physicality is world-class. The beauty of Waikiki Beach, it's world-famous. But even everything that's gone into it and the continued improvement, just when you go there, it's a tourist mecca. It has the shops, it has the restaurants, it certainly has the beach. It's everything.
Oahu sees 4.5 million visitors annually, and the majority make their way through the 2.5-mile strip of hotels, asphalt, shops, and sand. But really, what is Waikiki? And one has to wonder, how does the aloha spirit that all of these visitors come for stay alive?
Your clients can take their fun on the beach any way they like it. In slow motion on a beach mat, or at high speed on a surfboard. For speed with no work involved, they can ride one of Waikiki's sleek catamarans. Daytime fun was never easier to sell. And nighttime entertainment was never more abundant than it is now in Waikiki.
It's about living the aloha. If we don't have that within our souls, we might as well just shut these properties. Because our guests come here, maybe the first time, for the beautiful beach, for the beautiful waves, the beautiful mountains. We've got Diamond Head standing sentinel over Waikiki. They come for that. But when they come back again, something triggered in their mind in their first day that I've got to come back, because there's something more about Hawaii that is not written in the books, it's not written in the brochures. It's that feeling that we all get when we are with someone that gives of themselves, giving them that spirit of aloha, that spirit of care. That is what today they are coming back with. My name is Kay Haulani, and I'm going to start in 1927. So as I'm with anyone, I try my best to be a child of these islands that will bring that spiritual sense of peace to our guests.
I'm Didi Robello, owner of Aloha Beach Services. For me, my family, it's been a way of life. We don't know anything else. My dad was the last of the original Beach Boys. A lot of guys, they say, oh, I'm original. You can't be the original when the first ones are all dead already, you know? So my dad was the youngest, so he was the last one. Worked with Duke and Chick and all these guys that were back in the day. And then my mom was a second generation Kahanamoku. Her dad was Bill, one of Duke's brothers. Duke had his creed about aloha, right? We have the Duke's creed on the aloha thing. But don't forget that aloha is given, it's not taken. Don't take it. There is a reaction. You know, they always say, you try to tell someone or say some aloha to someone, you kind of catch them like off guard, and they'll turn around and say the same thing to you too. Even a tourist will go, oh, aloha, and they get a big kick out of that, you know. But at least they're kind of getting the picture.
What does Waikiki mean to you?
It means a lot of things. Ohana, history, bloodline, a lifestyle, culture. It's just a good melting pot of locals, Hawaiian history, and visitors from all around the world.
Back in the day with my dad, them, all the original Beach Boys only had the Moana and the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Only the rich and famous came. Because over a month you had to stay. You had to wait for the boat to come back and forth. You think they came to stay in those hotels? There was no Hanauma Bay. It was a dirt road. There was no Pearl Harbor tours. There was no Polynesian Cultural Center, Germain's Luau. They came and stayed at the Moana Hotel and the Royal Hawaiian for the beach. The Beach Boys. They're the ones who made the tourism industry what it is today, and everybody forgets about that. Because if it wasn't for them showing all the rich and famous people how nice and what a good time it is over here, I'll bet you 10 to 1 that we would have been an agricultural state, growing sugarcane, coffee, whatever. But because they showed everybody a good time, they showed the aloha spirit to the max. They tell their friends, and everybody, to me, is in debt to the Beach Boys for the life that we live down here now.
In 1901, the Moana Surfrider Hotel was established
The Moana, still the Grand Lady of Waikiki.
and forever changed the landscape of Waikiki.
It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you come from. If your heart is filled with the values of Hawaii, aloha is the overarching value. I keep coming back to that. You will never miss a step as you are trying to showcase to them just why we do what we do. So when you think about how do I make a difference for our guests today that will create that guest that will continue to come back, that guest that we so much need here within our islands, you just treat them like a human being, like how you would want to be treated, and they'll come back again. Hawaii is kind of looked to as a foreign destination because folks have to travel across the ocean. And believe it or not, people still think that some of us still live in grass shacks. I've met those people who are in total shock of what our beautiful islands are made of. It's showcasing to them that Hawaii is not something that you can buy, that true spirit of it, but it is something that you can feel through your interactions with the people that have that Hawaiian heart.
In 2020, the tourism engine stopped. The pandemic hit. Beaches were empty of the tourists that our islands craved. Voided of the chaos that was normal, the beaches, the water, the reefs began to heal. Locals came to a Waikiki that many never knew existed, and many wondered, how did we lose it? But more importantly, how can we keep it?
I am really very supportive of the whole idea of regenerative tourism. There's a sense of immersion into a culture and a place that's very unique and very rewarding.
For us, like my family, Waikiki will always be home, first and foremost. It's a major popular tourist destination, but it's literally just our backyard. I think for us, what we would like to see continue on is just the support to like all the local families. All of the activities are through local families. And that's why you come. You come because you get to meet an uncle that's been on the beach for 30 plus years, and you hear like all the fun stories that they did when they were younger and how Waikiki has changed, and you get that sense of like culture, which is why majority of us travel.
Have you guys ever had poi before?
But the hard part for us in Waikiki is you see more and more families just displaced.
Hawaii opened up. The mighty engine that could started to churn. But something was off. It was different, and not necessarily for the better.
Yo, I'm tired of laying down for the man, y'all. It's time that we stand up. It's time we put our fists up. We gotta man up. Let's buck the system, yo. I work 50 hours a week for peanuts. Then on Friday they give me the broom to clean up. I'm tired of being treated like a slave. Mr. Charlie, my time's worth more than minimum wage.
The suspect in the barricade situation has been shot.
We have a criminal element in Waikiki.
And matters escalated with the suspect then pulling out a large knife.
And a lot of them have been lurking down there.
Shots rang out Wednesday night just after 11 p.m.
Waikiki has changed. We're putting a greater emphasis on building community partnerships, having that different guardian mentality. And we use those community relationships to approach how we're going to address issues and come up with long-term solutions.
There is a larger group of homeless people that seem to be not from Hawaii. The other thing is, after COVID, we noticed the type of tourist that's here is less respectful. They're more demanding. People walk right in front of the ambulance when we're going lights or sirens. I used to pick up my mom in high school. I used to pick her up down here in Waikiki. I remember feeling safe as a kid there. Maybe I was a little bit ignorant at the time, but I didn't see as many of the indigent or homeless people sleeping on the sidewalk as I do now. Maybe I'm much more aware of them.
You in the big leagues now. You in the big leagues now.
After a string of violent crimes last fall, city officials pledged to make Waikiki safer for both visitors and residents.
We want to show compassion when we deal with people and just have a more community policing approach. If you need anything, let us know and we can get you shelter or something like that, okay?
It's my intent to really crack down on these people. But we may augment our police with private security in that area down there. There's one thing that's more equal than the rest has a priority, it's public safety.
Crime numbers are down in a lot of our major categories, and we're seeing a lot of positive effect, not just in the statistics, but visually on the street as well. We have a guardian mentality versus the warrior mentality, and that change in mentality kind of changes the way we approach a lot of our issues. Okay, be safe, man, be safe. A lot of the times, we like to involve the community prior to that zero tolerance enforcement.
As with any tourist mecca, the local residents and businesses are a vital part of the landscape. Restaurateur Sam Monahan has 2 eateries and understands the ups and downs of doing business in Waikiki.
My family first came to Hawaii, I guess I was about 6. In 83, I think we came over here, 84. And lived in Waikiki, so that's kind of where my start with Waikiki began. Waikiki really is kind of a magnet for people from all over the world. It's built for tourists. It's really a good place to, cordon off the tourist population. There's hundreds of hotels with tens of thousands of rooms. Everybody can sleep here. They're not in the city making all this traffic. They're in one spot. It's a great concept to have this tourist location, and it's promoted as such. But there is a community here in Waikiki. It's not very big. I lived in a small house for 20 years, and you know everybody here. Original garlic shrimp. I think the people that live and work in Waikiki have a doubly difficult job because they're teaching the visitors to be respectful at the same time that they're welcoming them and trying not to pretend to be their parents,
Here's Hawaii up to date, package tours or FIT, travel air or travel sea. There's no place
to sell
like Hawaii.
Everybody comes here with a little bit different expectation of Hawaii. And having an expectation kind of precedes a disappointment. You know, and that's part of what they're sold too. When they see all these pictures, they don't realize that there's a city here. Some people still think we're in grass shacks, you know, for real. They think Japanese walk around with samurai swords. It's everybody's expectation is really where any disappointment might come. And Waikiki has a very light dusting of aloha. It's just because of the constant turnaround of people, you know. And sharing aloha here, you have to be in a certain place in your life. It's not just training them how to act, it's the whole how they're living, how they're eating, where their home is. Are they living 2-hour bus drive and stressing to get here and stressing to get home every day? It's kind of the whole package for people that deal daily with the visitors. These guys, man, day in and day out, some of the people that work in the hotel, 30 years they've been spreading aloha every single day. They got that same level that you couldn't find somewhere else. Like, it's literally, these guys have ultra aloha, you know.
My name is Kuleana and I am a native Hawaiian professional surfer. I grew up in Waikiki. I was born and raised, and alongside with my parents and my grandparents, we're 3 generations on this beautiful beach. I feel like it's such a special place in and out of the water. Getting to kind of share my experience and who I am with the world kind of stems from my home, which is Waikiki. I feel like I connect with Waikiki and my roots is because of how much history there is with this beach, not just with my family, but with like our kings and queens. They used to surf down here back in their day, and I think there's just so much like mana that's around this place, and people often don't see that because they think it's a tourist destination, but it's a home. It's a home to many local Hawaiian families. You know, you come across so many different personalities of tourists. You have the ones that are open to learn about, you know, culture and what your home really is like, and then you'll get, you know, the more entitled side of tourists, you know, which is always something really hard because it's like you're entering somebody's home. It's not really like, this isn't really your place, you know, you're a visitor on like our land, and at the end of the day, I think what we ask for is respect, especially for people here in Hawaii. You know, we have so much like aloha to give, and I feel like people shouldn't take that for granted. You know, sometimes people are like, where's your like aloha? And you're like, well, if you're not going to show me the same respect on my home soil, why should I do the same as you? But that's just me personally. Waikiki is kind of like my responsibility to, you know, my family. Like I said many times before, I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And I've been so fortunate to have a really strong platform when I travel around the world. And I just embody, you know, my home and my culture as much as I can because that's who I am. You know, Waikiki is part of me and it always will be. And I feel like that's my responsibility, is to showcase Waikiki, everything that, you know, I stand for when I'm out in the water, on the board. This place is so special, and it's like rooted on a very much deeper level than people see, you know, because they see the buildings, they see, you know, the tourist industry, but deep down, you know, it's a family practice. This place is changing every day. I've seen so many different changes throughout my lifetime, and being so young, the amount of changes I've seen, I couldn't imagine like the changes my grandma's seen, or like my parents, you know, my uncles and aunties. So for me, a change that I would love to see is to have, you know, the Beach Boys back. I think that's something that is like so close to my heart, because I would come down here every single day and like, I would just be surrounded by, you know, family and friends. And I think that's what the beach is missing right now. You know, the vibes kind of changed over the years, and yeah, I think that's the change that I would love to see.
While there is no magic bullet or immediate solution to Waikiki and tourism overall, we must learn, adapt, and come together to move forward.
What is responsible tourism? And that starts from the top down. We're definitely overpopulated when it comes to tourism. We also have policies in effect that tend to lean more towards taking care of the tourists versus the local population.
Waikiki doesn't bring very many local people, so most of my clients and people that come here are visitors. And in that visitor group, there's rich people, there's poor people, there's people that wouldn't normally be traveling.
There aren't any grass shacks?
A few minutes ago, you hated grass shacks.
Ah, they've ruined the whole thing, all those big buildings and hotels.
Tourism is our lifeline. For better or worse, it has defined who we are as a state, but it has not defined who we are as a people.
Spirit of Aloha, you know, just experiencing it and taking in Aloha too is just something for them as well. As far as the friendship that we build out here, we have people that come all the time. Some people come from Canada and stay for 3 months. Lifelong friendships.
When I first laid eyes on Waikiki, I was stunned. But the thing I learned about Hawaii early on, and was an old tagline from the Hawaii Visitors Bureau that I loved, that really speaks volumes to me, and it still does today, and that is that you come for the beauty, but you stay for the people.
Hawaii to me is my home. And this is a place that every day I pray will be here for future generations to continue to sustain this beautiful, beautiful place, our island home, and our culture as well.
It is time for us to come together as a community. Each of us has a role in shaping Hawaii's future. We learn from the past. We live in the present. We create our destiny. To connect and learn from each other is our Kuleana.
Kuleana, brought to you by Hawaii Food Service Alliance and Domino's Hawaii.